Welcome, everyone, to the Irrigation Contract Club podcast. My name is Pete, and I'm your host. Today, I'm joined by Mr. Matt Cline of Teachers Irrigation out of Kansas. Thanks for joining, Matt.
Yeah.
Let's start off with, why don't you tell us a bit about yourself, your experience, Teachers Irrigation, and who is West the Water Dog?
I should have brought him. So, one of the first questions we're always asked with the name Teachers is, are you a teacher? And it's tough. Yes and no. I'm a former in education, former football coach, taught for a few years. And during the summertime, we did landscaping and painted houses and did stuff like that. And this was back in the late 90s. And I played college football. And so I thought the natural progression was for me to enter, it was to coach. But I didn't like coaching, didn't like it a bit. So I got out of that and I was desperate to find another career path. And I saw an opportunity in the irrigation industry. And I saw some things that weren't being done and took a chance, knew nothing about irrigation. I had no formal training, nothing. Just jumped in and learned from the guy behind the counter at my vendor, and which was a big mistake because he knew about as much as I did. And so I got some horror stories about that. But so I just learned on the ropes, man. Started the business back in 2000. Called it Teachers Irrigation. I've been going ever since, man. So, been going on this be 24 years starting, 2024. So no going back now.
Mm-hmm. So you have a really heavy focus on training, recruiting, developing, and you actually have an in-house technician training program. Could you tell me a bit about that?
Yeah. So, kind of one of my superhero strengths is to kind of see where the gaps in the market are. And so I'll go back a little bit even from that. So the training thing came out of my frustration of looking for qualified technicians. I had a vision to grow my company. I wanted to scale, knew I needed to build my team, but really struggled in trying to find qualified guys. And when I did find a qualified guy, they had bad habits. They were leaving a company because that other company didn't want them. Mm-hmm. And so I struggled with that for probably 10 to 12 years, probably longer than that, probably 15 years. And finally, I just gave up. And I said, you know what? I'm the solution to the problem. And found that if I could grow my own technician, I could train and bring up my own technician. That was the path that I found the most success with. And so our strategy today for growth and to grow our team is to recruit heavy on guys who have no experience, guys who are competent, capable, and have character. We look for guys who come from a blue collar background, and then we train them. And then we show them how to become irrigation technicians through our technician training program that we've developed in-house. And we've actually started a school within our own company. And we train not only our own guys, but other companies. So we actually invite other companies around our marketplace and have them come in. I train multiple other companies, their guys, and we train them as well. And it's fun and it's exciting and it helps the market. And it just elevates our whole industry in the Kansas City market. So I'm very open and willing to help out anybody who wants the help. I know the pain and the frustration and we know how to do it. We know how to train guys. We know how to develop guys. That's our focus. I see my job as the owner of this business to develop people. It's in our mission statement. It's part of our core values. Our core value, one of them is growth, and we want to grow, and we want to grow people, and that's our focus. And so I spend a lot of my time figuring out innovation and new ways to be able to raise the bar of our training program, and it's a blast. We have fun, and we're having a lot of success with it. And so, my top guys, one of them's a missionary who built churches in South America. Probably my best guy is a pest control guy. I got a guy who's an electrician I just brought on, and I had another guy who was a landscape guy. They had no experience in irrigation, and because they had the kind of the background in blue collar type hands-on work, and they were willing to learn and develop, it works out. And what's interesting is, we just brought an electrician guy, a guy who was working as an electrician, and he just wanted a better opportunity. He just wanted an opportunity to have a career path. He wanted an opportunity to make more money. And he wanted to be part of a culture that was going somewhere and appreciated him and valued him. And he's bought in. And so that's kind of the gist of it. But yeah, we grow our own, man. We grow our own tomatoes. We don't buy them at the store.
So when you hire, when you decide someone is sort of worth putting in the time and effort into training them up through this program, are they like, what's the schedule like? Are they half the time they're in the training facility, half the time they're in the field, or what is that like?
Yeah, so our program is kind of self-paced. A lot of it is. So we have training modulars that these guys can go through on their own pace at their own time. And really what we want to do is we create a path for them that they can see, that they can follow, that they can check the boxes off. And there is no doubt in their mind how to get from point A to point B in our program. We have 3 levels as our technicians. We have our technician assistant, we have our irrigation technician, and then we have our technician manager. And we outline and show the guys coming in their career path. It's a very important part of the process. Is your A players, they want to know how to win. Your C players, they don't care. They just want to make a nickel more than they're making at their last place. But your guys that you want to keep around, it's really important as you bring guys on, and part of the inboarding process is you got to show them an org chart. You got to show them, like, here's Matt at the CEO level, and here are all these other categories. Here's a general manager, here's operations manager, here's an irrigation technician, and you show that, and then they can literally put their name somewhere in that bubble. You could show them how to get to, and the A players, man, they're all about it. And so, our program is designed around where they can, go at their own pace, and they take the training modules online that we've developed, and then they take an assessment, and then they have a checklist that they literally go through and they mark off. We define the skill mastery set that they have to, master at each level. And we walk them through it. And we show them how much money they can make and how far they can get. And you find out real quick who wants to win and who doesn't, and who's you're willing to invest in more. And you find out who has the potential of being a good leader. And so it's, we try to be as transparent as we can and really try to show guys, look, this is how you get a raise. This is how you make more money. Don't come to me wanting $1 more an hour raise if you haven't mastered these skill sets. So that's kind of the basis, the foundation of it. But there's 3 levels. And we want guys, we want them all to be managers, because that means they're hungry and they want to develop and they want to progress. But what I've found is your A players, man, that you want on your team, they want to know how to get to the top. They want to know how to be the general manager.
Mm-hmm.
And those are the guys that you really want to, invest in and mentor, So that's it. But it's self-paced. And then there's some hands-on stuff, obviously. But a lot of the assessments, like we have a gluing assessment.
Mm-hmm.
We teach the guys the 3 C's of PVC, we call it. Cut, clean, connect.
Mm-hmm.
And we use a lot of acronyms for training and development. And 3 C's of PVC, cut, clean, connect. And then they have to demonstrate those cut, clean, connect in the orders that we teach them. And then they have to demonstrate that on a model, and they have to put in a slip fix. I know that's a bad word for a lot of contractors, slip fixes. We use them. We like them. But there's a right way and a wrong way to putting them in. But then they have to demonstrate that's their assessment. And so some of them are hands-on assessments. Some of them are written test assessments. We have a nozzle assessment where they have to actually go through and look at the color of a blue van nozzle and know that's a 10-foot radius head, okay? Because we really want to teach them the language and the customized materials that we use, and those things. We use Rainbird 5004 plus amperes heads. We want them to know we don't put 100 PGPs in. Okay, but so we want them to know. So when they go to the store, how they order a head. It's a 5000 series head, and don't buy it unless it's got the SAM PRS. This got to have the check valve. What does the check valve do? It saves water. So just those type of things, the little details that we train.
Sure. Have you noticed commonalities between these, between the A players? So you said you're looking for people that don't have irrigation experience, but do have a blue collar background, and they want to know how they can progress. Is that a conversation that you're having during the interview process, where where you're looking for that in particular, like as far as them like really being interested in the path itself?
Yeah.
And what else have you noticed?
So I'm a Kansas City Chiefs fan. You're probably a Denver Broncos guy. Maybe, I don't know. Who?
Eagles.
Oh, Eagles. All right. I don't know. San Francisco's coming on strong this late in the season. They may knock on the Eagles. But anyway, I like Jalen Hurts. So, I played football in college, and so we use a lot of sports analogies when we talk. It's a really, up until this season, of course, it's still a big season. It's really fun to be a Kansas City Chiefs fan. Really fun. We got Patrick Mahomes. We got Andy Reid. We got Travis Kelce. We got all these great players. We're winning Super Bowls. And it's really fun to go out of town with my Chiefs jacket on, right? It's fun to be a part of, associated with that. I really try to sell that to people when I'm interviewing people, try to get them to buy in. Like, listen, we're going somewhere. I mean, this is a team that you want to be a part of. And this is why, because we're winners. We have a desire to win the Super Bowl. We need A players. I need another Patrick Mahomes and a Kelce. I need a running back. Are you that guy? And so we're looking for these guys who are getting excited. I love to hire athletes. Love to hire athletes because they get it. They understand. I'm an athlete. And they understand the competition and the drive, because I really try to paint this picture for guys like, man, we want to win. We're going to win. We're going to win. And this is how we're going to do it. And if you want to be part of a Super Bowl team, this is the team. And so we're looking at those guys who are like, yeah, man, I want to freaking win. I want this buy. So we're looking for these guys who get excited and this buy-in and they believe it. And that's why we love athletes. And so, a lot of the questions and kind of the feel, and we hire slow too. We hire slow. And it's just because I've learned that if you're trying to, we hire because we want somebody, not because we need them. There's a big difference between that. And that's why, season's coming to an end. You're shutting your season down. I'm shutting my season down. But I'm hiring guys a month ago for 2024. Why? Because I'm looking for A guys, looking for good quality guys, and I'm bringing them on because I know that if I'm trying to hire in March, I'm in trouble because I need that guy. If I'm trying to hire somebody when I need them, I'm in trouble. But when I want somebody, that's a great time to be hiring. I bought my car. I bought my wife a car recently because we needed a car. The car broke down. Made a bad decision. I bought a lemon because I needed a car, And so hiring has got to be, what I found out is like, we got to be hiring when we want somebody, not when we need them. We got to have some, because then you make bad decisions like I made buying that car. So, hire slow, and trying to, for the irrigation technician position, what we've found out is we want strategic thinkers. Strategic thinkers. There are, you ever heard of strength finders?
No.
Have you ever heard of that? Okay, so everybody has 34 strengths. You only use 5 of them on a consistent basis. These 34 strengths are categorized. You've got strategic thinkers, you've got influencers, you've got activators, and you've got relationship people. So all these 34 are divided in 4 categories. Your irrigation technicians, the really good ones, are strategic thinkers. They're strategic thinkers. So if you can, through the interview process, if you can navigate and try to figure out, is this guy a strategic thinker or is he more of an influencer? I'm an influencer. And that's why my leadership skills are really good. I've got, my best guy, my best wire troubleshooter guy, the guy who can go out and find a wire fault with the 521. He's a strategic thinker. He's the best guy I've got for that job. So everybody that comes in, we give them a skill strength assessment. And we want to know what your strengths are, what your superpower strength is. And then, we can kind of cater your responsibilities based off those strengths and those categories. It's funny because I've got a really well-balanced team. I've got some strategic, I've got some relational, and I've got some activators over here, guys who want to get stuff done. But what's interesting is the Google review guys, they're relational. They kill the Google reviews. The strategic guys don't. They don't get the reviews like the relational guys do. So I may send John out to a new account to meet a new client. He's a relational guy because I know he's going to make a great impression off somebody. But the strategic guy, I'm going to send him over to the arboretum that's got 300 zones and zone 17's down. So I'll put him on that because he's a strategic thinker. He likes to figure things out. So knowing your team and the dynamic of your team and what their strengths are, now I can kind of cater what type of jobs I put them on, and then they feel more successful. But that's hard to decipher when you're trying to hire somebody. But really, man, I just go on gut. I go out, I get a good feel. I'll have one of my lead guys interview them. I'll bring them in, and I'll pass on some really good guys who are really knowledgeable that could make a lot of money for teachers irrigation, but I know they don't fit the culture. They're not compatible because we hire on 3 things: competency, character, and compatibility. So if they're not compatible with the culture and they're going to rub people wrong, man, they could make you $1 million. It wouldn't be worth it. So, hiring on compatibility, compatible with your culture, competency, not that they know irrigation terminology in the irrigation industry, but that they can learn it. They come from a field, they're an electrician, they're a plumber, they're a construction guy, but they can learn it through our process. So we had that, and obviously character. You always, that's a no-brainer. But those are the 3 things when we try to find somebody. Are they going to fit these 3 categories for us? A lot of times it's just a feel. We're interviewing multiple people. I may even have somebody outside the organization, a mentor or something, have a conversation with them. I've done that as well. So, but honestly, man, it's it's still a gamble.
Where do you typically find new recruits?
Yeah. So, um, the best place is, friends of employees. Hey, do
Mm.
you know somebody? You got a buddy, because they know the flavor of the relation. They know this guy's a good fit or not. They've already kind of vetted him out, or like, you know what? I'm not going to bring John. I'm not going to recommend him. That's the number one. Number one. I'm always asking the guy, listen, guys, we're adding, we need to add to our crew. Hey, do you think of anybody out there that can help us out?
Mhm.
And then we do Indeed,
Mhm.
a little higher level. We don't do Craigslist.
Mhm.
I don't put up a help wanted sign in the supermarket. Um, I try to really sell the company culture. I'll put a video out, of me talking, telling, trying to display the professionalism and the enthusiasm that we have to be the Super Bowl champions. Or you want to join our mission to grow and develop, or are you on board with that? So, but the higher level Indeeds, monsters, stuff like that is where I will go out and put an ad. Now,
Mhm.
I'll tell you, the last two guys that I hired, I had to interview 52 people.
52 2?
52 for two. 52 for two. And it's funny because on one of these message boards, somebody was asking questions about how to hire. And I said, kind of threw my 2 cents in there about, if you're on Craigslist, probably not the best place to be trying to find your next technician. And I mentioned that I had to go through that. It's a long process, man. It's a long process. And I had 52, and people were like, oh, bull crap. You didn't have to. I said, no, I can show you. I screenshot it, posted it on the forum, and said 52. Now, not like I sat down and had 52 conversations with people, but 52 people applied to the position.
Mhm.
And you find out real quick that, 80% of them aren't worthy because they don't return yours, when you reach out to them and stuff. So it's a grueling process, even on Indeed, or Monster or some other higher end level type hiring platform. But that I'll go there and it's just a grind, man. It's just a grind going through them, and it's a process, and you just know that out of 52 of them, you're hoping one will stick. You'll get a conversation with somebody, actually come in and have a conversation with you, and they've got a clean driving record, or something like that. So though that is where we recruit. But the number one is, friends and family, friends and family, employees.
Do you always have a job ad posted just to keep that pipeline full, or do you just do it in like seasons?
Yeah, I don't, man. I really don't. Um, what I'm really good at, Peter, is I'm in line at Quick Trip and I see
Hmm.
some guy getting his coffee, and I'm like, hey, man, I'm gonna buy your coffee for you. Hey, I'm Matt. Here's my card. Hey, if you ever want an opportunity to, be of a winning team and culture, hey, give me a call. So you can always be recruiting. You're always looking for talent. And
Mhm.
that's something that I'm really good at. I'm really good about just keeping my head on a swivel. I played linebacker while I played defensive end in college. Man, I learned always to be looking for that crackback, that guy coming out of my blind side. So I got really good about being my head's always on a swivel and just always networking and telling people, and looking, just always recruiting. I always talk about recruit, 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 hire, train, hire, train. So I don't post all the time, but not a bad strategy. Not a bad strategy at all.
Mhm. Yeah, we tried that.
So,
We had one. The thing that we had with, or the problem that we had with Indeed was that was sort of the strategy that we were planning on taking is just leave the ad up, and then you only pay as you accept them anyway.
yeah,
So you just have to filter them. But then it's like you forget to filter it for a couple of days, and now all of a sudden
yeah,
you just paid for 12 applications that aren't
right,
worth anything. But I like what you just said, where
right.
you approach the person at Quick Trip and you don't say, "Hey, do Do you want to be an irrigation technician? You say. Do you want to be a part of a
Right.
winning Super Bowl team? I
Yeah.
like that a lot.
Yeah. Yeah. That I think that's the key because there's a difference. The way I try to sell our brand is there's a difference between what you do and who you are. And I think you, as a business owner, as a CEO, as a leader, really have to push the initiative of this is who we are. This is our identity. We do irrigation work, but what we are leaders, we're innovators, and we're winners. So you're trying to get guys to connect to what the identity is, which a lot for us is leadership. Man, we want to lead. We want to push the initiative. We want people to look at our brand, Teachers Irrigation, and go, that's the model. That's how you do it. See this? So, that's what we want to do. So, and if you can get guys to buy into that identity part of it, this is who we are. This is who we are. We're leaders. But what we do is we do irrigation service work. There's a difference. And that's hard to do sometimes. And it's a stigma that sometimes you have to learn to kind of get over, and it's like I don't I what I do is I run this business, but who I am is I am a leader who develops people. That's my identity. And yeah, so that's it.
How big is your team right now? How many people are on your team?
So we got four lead technicians. I got 2 office gals, and then we're adding 2 more assistant technicians. So we'll be a team of 8,
Got it. And when you're the CEO of a team of 8, what is your role? Both generally and on a day-to-day.
Yeah, man. So, I'm the CEO / general manager, right? So there's definitely a difference. And what I'd really like to do is I think kind of what I'm trying to get to is I'm trying to develop leadership in my team to take my general manager's position off my plate, So I'm wearing multiple hats. I'm also sales, and you just do a little bit of everything. But I see my main role is to define the mission, define the direction, to define the direction. This is where we're going, and to push the culture. When I walk in the morning, I've got to make sure that I am setting the temperature of the team. I got to make sure that I am training towards the culture and the mission, and I'm reminding us of what the mission is. Our mission is to be profitable. Our mission is to grow today. Our mission is to create exceptional experiences for our clients. And while we do all that, we're leaders of the industry. So that's our mission. And our core values, our identity, and making sure that we're all operating under that growth, make sure that we're growing every day, we're training every day. It's not perfection, it's progress. So there's a difference. It's like, it's not about being perfect or getting anything right, but it's about getting better every day, 1%, man. And so making sure that we're doing that. And then, we're innovators, and then we are leaders, and we lead through empowerment. And what empowerment is we want to equip our guys to make good decisions, and hopefully those decisions go back towards the mission. But a big trigger for me, man, is when somebody's not knowing what to do, they do nothing. And I tell my guys this all the time. I say, listen, make a decision. I had a phone call a couple hours ago. A couple guys were on a job. They didn't know what to do. I said, listen, I got bigger things I'm dealing with. I'd love to be able to have a conversation with you. Make a decision. Just make a decision. It could be wrong. It could be right. But it's my job as the leader of this organization to equip these guys to feel comfortable. Listen, we know we're going to make a decision. We hope it's right. If it's wrong, Matt's not going to get mad at us. Well, he's going to get mad at us if we don't do anything. So my job as leadership is making sure my guys feel empowered and equipped to make decisions in the field that lead us towards our mission, that encompass our culture. And right or wrong, man, it's really, that's not the point. The point is you're going left or you're going right, and we'll pivot off of that.
Mm-hmm.
But make a decision, because I can't be the bottleneck. I can't be picking up the phone. I've got other stuff. I'm trying to lead the charge here. So just make a decision. I trust you. I love you. And I believe in you. Okay. So those are the three things. When the guys walk out the door, my job as a leader, my job as a CEO, I have to make sure that my guys believe that. And I got to make sure that they trust me, because CEOs, they have to be somebody that their people trust. If they don't trust me, man, it doesn't matter. So they got to be able to trust me.
Mm-hmm.
I got their back. I love them. I want them to win. And that's what I see my job as a CEO.
Mm-hmm. Got it. So you mentioned, so you do training every day. Is that do you have like a set schedule that where you like cycle through like today's sales training, tomorrow's technical training, or is it more like based on, is it like a flexible thing based on events of yesterday?
Yeah, great question. I would love to tell you, Peter, that I'm very super organized. I've got it all mapped out. I've got to do a better job of that. But we have a Tuesday training session every Tuesday. We call it Tuesday training.
Mm-hmm.
We'll have a 15-minute training thing on whatever I decide to. And then honestly, it's every morning meeting. We're talking. We're having conversations about what happened the day before with Billy. We're talking about, the accident that happened yesterday. Training it doesn't have to be a formal, we're sitting down in front of a computer or in front of a TV screen and training.
Mm-hmm.
It's just about having conversations with your guys and just being very flexible, like you said. I think that's important, and being flexible and talking about what happened yesterday or what's coming up. How can we navigate things that happened with Mrs. Smith? It's like a little one-on-one personal relational training. And it's everything, man. It's not all technical. It's leadership, it's safety, it's technical. It's just, it's a variety of things. But I'd say for next year, 2024, my office manager, Jordan, was doing a good job of saying, listen, we got to get more organized with some of this stuff. And I totally agree. I am a futuristic person. That's one of my strengths. And so I'm always looking at tomorrow. So I'm not the most organized person. I'm really good with vision, but so I've got to do a better job of that, being more intentional with the training on a daily basis from being organized. But we do have a Tuesday training. We'll have a topic, but that's about structure as it gets. But we have a Monday morning, or we have a meeting every morning, and we take that opportunity to talk and discuss, and then you can integrate. It's training. To me, that's training.
Mm-hmm. So as I understand it, we've only been talking about technicians so far. What about what about recruiting and training for the CSR or any sort of office staff? Do you also have like a regimented program and trainings with like the other pieces of your operation?
Yeah, that's a great question. And no, I don't. But I know it's important. And here's kind of my strategy with this. I'm really good at finding people who do things better than me, and then having them do it. So I have an office manager named Jordan, and she is phenomenal. And so what I can do with Jordan and say, Jordan, you're very organized and you get me organized and you keep me on track. I want you to create a training program for our next person. So I want you to create systems and processes, standard operating procedures. And then so we can systematize everything for every part of your job. And not me, I'm not the person to do it. But so I'll find people who do things better than me, and then I will recruit them, put them on my team, and then I'll have them do what they're good at. And so, the customer relations part of that, the scheduling part of it, all that honestly makes me anxious and nervous. So, but I know we have to systematize it, right? It has to be something that's systemized. It has to be in a book. We have to be consistent. So I know we've got to document it, but I'm not the person to do that. But I'm going to find somebody who is. See all this stuff on behind me right here. This is some training things. These are some new videos that we're going to be doing. I'm not doing them. I've got a who that's doing these. So I've got my vision, my content. I've recruited somebody to do this. So when I told him, I was like, if you need help, just let me know and I'll help you, create some content. But I'm not doing it. So, but this is kind of a next level thing that we're doing with our production side of it. We're taking our production from our video training up a level. But I'm not the guy to do it. I'm the content guy. I'm the visionary guy. I'm the futuristic guy. I can tell us where we're going, but I'm going to find who's. I'm going to recruit who's, people who are more capable of doing all this stuff better than I am, and then I'm going to have them do it. And so that's an important part of kind of getting to where you want to go. It's not about you doing everything. So funny story. Tell you real quick. I had this client who had this really big remodeling company, and he had locations in Kansas City. He had in Omaha and Atlanta, Georgia. And it blew my mind. This was early on in my stages of business. I just started my irrigation company. And I thought, how in the world do you run 3 locations? That's amazing. How do you be 3 places at one time? Because in my perspective, it's like I had to do everything, right? I had to answer the phone, had to do the invoices, had to do the work, right? Had to recruit, had to hire, had to wear every hat. And so I thought everybody else had to too, and that's the way you did it. So look at this guy, and he said to me, he's like, yeah, man, I have a team that does this stuff. I don't do this. I'm sitting on the beach, And so I was like, oh, okay. So I'm still learning that. But, I think for guys who want to grow their business, you got to find who's. You got to find people who do it better than you. You have to recruit them, get them on your team, and then empower them, and then get them to do it. So that's how you do it.
What are some? So you've been in business for 23 years now. What are some common pitfalls you've seen people fall into, and what are some common mistakes you see people making, maybe that you've made yourself, that are that people can hopefully avoid after listening to this?
Yeah. So I wish I would be a lot further along today if I had gotten coaching earlier on. Coaching, business coaching. I have 3 coaches in my life. Coaching is a game changer. Find a coach. I tell my kids, I have 3 kids. I have 3 teenage. Well, no, they're not teenagers anymore. They're all adults. But I tell them, I said, do life with people who are at where you want to be. And that's what coaching is. So coaching is, mentorship with other people who are at the level where you want to be. So that was a game changer for me. And if I had done that 10 years earlier, I would be a lot further along than I am right now.
Are these mentors that are also in the industry that you look up to, or are these people who, like in your area, that offer business consulting?
Yeah. So they are not necessarily, I do have mentors in the industry, but they're not coaches. They're more mentors. Coaching, these are people who are in similar, like home service type businesses who have coaching, and partner with those. find coaching with people who and pay it. Warren Buffett said the best investment a guy can make is in himself. And I believe it 100%. I would have not believed that before coaching, but it is 100% true. Invest in that. Spend the money, and you will have a return on investment. Here's the thing about education and knowledge. It's not going to burn down. It's not going to rust away. It's with you for the rest of your life. So that truck I bought out there the other day, it's going to blow up one day. But my knowledge that I have now through my coaching with my coach, it's with me forever. I'll never lose that. And that's a good investment. That's a real good investment. But I have kind of 3 areas of my life that I have coaching now that I think is very important for business owners to understand. You've got to invest, in coaching in your business. You've got to invest in coaching in your health. Okay. I have a personal trainer that coaches my health. I don't want to have a heart attack. It's like, I want to be healthy. I got to be healthy for my business. So I got to invest in coaching for my health. And then I've got a personal coach that it's like a life coach that helps me navigate, stuff that I deal with from a personal perspective, to help me be a better leader, to help me show up for my team. Because if I've got baggage at home, if I've got relational issues at home, I'm going to drag that stuff to work, and I can't be a good leader. So I've got to deal with that stuff. If I'm sick, and I'm not healthy, I can't show up for my team. I can't show up for my business. Can't show up for my family. So I'm a big proponent in getting some good coaching. Find a coach, reach out to somebody who's at where you want to be, and invest in it. It's a big, it will return. So that's one of the things I wish I had done earlier. The mistake I made is I wasn't willing to invest in that. It's just so foolish. But now that I've done it, just everything in my life, Peter, has just gone up and to the right, man. Up and to the right. My business, my relationships, and my health. just everything is like, boom. So another thing too is just not charging enough, man. Not charging enough. And here's what goes back to the identity and the whole taking coaching and stuff. Is once I started believing in myself, man, I started understanding that I was worth it, man. I was worthy of charging a premium price for things. And man, big trigger, you want to get me fired up, get me going about some guy who doesn't want to charge for, a service because they feel like they're gouging the client. I'll use this for example. I was on a message board the other day, and the guys were talking about locating valves. And some guys were like, yeah, we don't charge extra for locating valves. And some guys were like, yeah, we charge extra for locating valves. Well, we don't charge extra for locating valves because, we feel like it's a tool, and it's just like a shovel. And it just got me fired up, man. It makes me so mad because the reason why people don't want to charge extra for things like that is because they don't think they're worth it. They don't think they're worthy. They don't think they deserve to make premium money. They don't believe it. That's what I think. And so coaching and investing in myself is made me understand that I am worth it, that I'm worthy of making money, as much money as a plumber does, or an electrician does, or a mechanic does, or a lawyer does. I tell you what, the work that we do is a lot harder than what they do. I guarantee it. And so not charging enough and believing in yourself, I think that's a mistake. People not believing that they're worthy to make, a couple $100,000 a year, in this industry, or make $1 million, whatever your goal is. But once I started getting some coaching and some consulting with that stuff, man, I started up in my game on my prices and stuff like that. And one of my videos that I have on TikTok was talking about price objections, And it's kind of scary, asking for money. Some of the things that we charge for some of the things we do, it makes some people feel uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
But I try to tell my employees, my team members, it's like, you guys are worth it. You guys are worth it. And I believe it. So this is what we have to charge. And this is why we have to charge what we want to charge.
Mm-hmm.
Because I want you guys to make good money. I want you guys to send your kids to college. I want you guys to have new cars. I want you guys, And I feel like when we don't charge premium prices or we want to charge what everybody else charges, we're not only hurting ourselves, but we're hurting our team members. We're hurting our family. We're hurting the industry. You talk about ripping somebody off. You're ripping off your team. You're ripping off your kids. You're ripping off your wife. I mean, it's a trigger point for me, man. It gets me fired up. I'm very passionate about that. So I want guys to be able to thrive and prosper in this industry. We deserve it. Just deserve it. And so I love talking about business. I love talking about metrics. I just got off the phone with a buddy of mine talking about, how one of his employees can make 80 grand this year. And we broke down the numbers. I love doing that stuff. I love unpacking it, It's like, this is what you got to do. These are the metrics. These are the numbers, So anyway, that's all. I love that stuff.
No, that's great, man.
Yeah.
I definitely want to touch on this next one before we wrap up here. So you said you're currently focused on doing more with less.
Yes.
How do you do that, and why is that a goal?
So my daughter the other day was making guacamole, and she was scooping out the avocados, and she's making this guacamole and stuff. And I noticed something interesting. She wasn't scooping all the avocado out, and she made this beautiful guacamole. And I looked at that, and I looked at the pile of the guacamole, and I looked at all their avocados, and I said, you know what? I said, you could have 25% more guacamole if you would have used all the avocado. You left a lot in there. And I think for us, for Teachers Irrigation for 2024, we still got some avocado to scoop out of the shell. So I think we can do more next year without adding 50, 100, 300 more clients. I think we can do more without adding 10 team members and 5 trucks and all this stuff. I think we can hit our numbers and metrics with what we have, honestly, if we were just willing to scoop out a little more avocado and find those opportunities. So one of the things going into 2024 is we're really looking at it on efficiency. The way you improve profit is you improve efficiency. You do things faster. You do things, while you're there, so you don't have to come back. You're able to diagnose quicker. And so if we can improve efficiency, I think we can add 25% more to the bottom line for next year. And so less is more. That's what I believe, and that's where I'm going to lead us to. It's like, how can we develop more systems and process? How can we train and get more efficient? And what can we add to the tools and whatnot? And how can we get better and grab more avocado out of that shell? And so that's what I'm believing. And I think all of us as irrigation business owners, with the labor shortage that we're all experiencing, we're all in the same boat. I think that's the approach we need to really look at. We need to really dissect our business and say, what opportunities are we missing out there? Is it another, I don't say service, because I don't want us to be a jack of all trades. I really want us to hyper focus. I'm talking to us as the industry. I want us to really hyper focus on irrigation. I think there's a lot of opportunities there. But what can we do to take a little more time to add more value to the client and make those systems better, more efficient, and also add, profit to our bottom line? What we got. I believe we can do it. 2024.
That's the goal for 2024, is add 25% to the bottom line.
I can't say 25%, but that would be, net profit.
Okay.
Net profit, not gross. Great.
Sure.
Listen, if I could you can tell me you got a $3 million irrigation company. That don't mean jack. I had a buddy who had a $5 million company and went completely bankrupt, so, numbers for vanity, profit for sanity, baby. It's all about the net, man. It's all about the net. And so that's what efficiency is, adding more net profit to the bottom line, and then, sharing that profit with your team members, man. So
one more thing before we sign off.
yeah, man.
What book recommendations do you have for me?
Oh man, I've been waiting for this, right? So here is my top 4 for 2024 for the irrigation industry, right? Number 1, Ellen Rohr, How Much Should I Charge? Ellen Rohr is the president, owner of Zoom Training. It's a franchise plumbing company. I'm like you, Peter. I'm a big student of other trades, of the plumbing trade, of the HVAC, those other trades that are really killing it, doing it well. Ellen Rohr is a plumber. How Much Should I Charge? It's a perfect book for irrigation technicians who do service work. And what she's going to tell you is do more with less. That's what she's going to tell you. Ellen Rohr, great book. There are 3 other books I highly recommend. Benjamin Hardy, which is an organizational psychologist who is going to help you get your mind right to play the game of business to be successful. It's not a business book, but it's going to give you the mentality. It's going to give you the mindset to win. And Who Not How by Benjamin Hardy. Great book. It's going to teach you to get, it's not about how do I get this done, it's who's going to do it. And we talked about that a little bit ago in our interview. And then The Gap in the Game by Benjamin Hardy. And then that's about looking at life happens for us, not to us, which is huge. And then 10X is easier than 2X. So 3 books by Benjamin Hardy. 10X is easier than 2X, The Gap in the Game, and Who Not How. Highly recommend. And then Ellen Rohr's How Much Should I Charge? You read those 4 books, 2024. That's my teacher's irrigation book recommendation. You're going to win this year.
Awesome, man.
Yeah.
I love it. Thanks. I really appreciate your time. And I really hope to do this again. There's a lot of other subjects that I would love to get some insight on from you. But that's it for this one. So thanks again, man.
Man, my pleasure. And really encouraged by what you're doing, Peter, and trying to lead the charge on trying to raise the standards and the level of this industry. Thank you for doing that, and looking forward to all that's to come. Any way I can help you out, you let me know, man. You know how to get a hold of me.
Absolutely. I appreciate it.
All right, brother.
All right.